Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to give you a list of a few things that I think is a good idea to pay attention to while you're on your routes, just to help give you more of an advantage and possibly even save you time. So number one is paying attention to the notes section in the app. There's been plenty of times where I'm just in my flow, I'm just going, everything is going smooth. I'm on time for everything. I'm even getting off early and I'm just like not paying attention to the notes. And then by the time I drop the package off and get back in my car, I see a note that says, please don't drive in the driveway, or please don't ring the doorbell. We have a sleeping baby, or something like that. So for the apartment complexes, sometimes it'll indicate if you need to leave the package at the customer's door, the leasing office, or deliver to a mailroom. Now, sometimes that could get tricky because the pin is telling you to go to the leasing office, but the note says to drop it at the customer's door. So there's two things you can do there. You can either call support and have them update it so that it can match the app, or you can just leave the package wherever the pin is highlighted. So in this case, for my example, the pin is at the leasing office, the note is saying to the customer's door. So if you went to the customer's door to try to leave the package, you won't be able to complete that stop on the app because you would have to call support in order to do that. So you have a few options there. I usually just follow what the pin, but depending on what the note says, I might just do what the note says, but then find my way back to the pin so that I can click continue and end that stop and go on to the next one. Me personally, I recommend calling support and having it updated, but honestly, sometimes when you're out there, you really don't have much time to do all of that. Using your judgment will be the best bet, and just taking it by a case-by-case basis. Number 2 on the list is watching out for damaged packages before you start your routes. Unfortunately, this day, one of my packages were apparently damaged somehow between pickup and drop off, and it leaked all over my trunk, messing up the other packages as well. I'm not sure exactly what this liquid was, but it smelled a little like motor oil of some sort. Whatever was in this box is leaking all over my car, so more than likely I'm going to have to take this package back to the station because it's damaged. Whenever you have a damaged package like this, you're supposed to mark it damaged in the app and return it to the station after your route, or before the next day. It'll indicate that in the app for you on what time. Unfortunately, my situation here called for me to mark all of these packages damaged because the oil leaked all over and seeped through the boxes. Me personally, I wouldn't want to receive a package to my home with oil all over it. I called support for help, told them what happened, especially to let them know about the odor that was making me sick too. It wasn't making me sick, but it was really like strong and stink, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. They didn't really care. But they had to help me mark all of them undelivered because the app only allowed me to do 2 without calling them. So all in all, after I returned the packages back to the station, I let the workers inside know that I returned all of those packages damaged. I really wasn't supposed to put all of them in the box because they had oil all over them. Damaged packages are supposed to go back into the warehouse apparently, and only the return packages goes into that big old box that you see on the screen. After that, I just went ahead and washed out the back of my car. Thank God it wasn't cloth, it was plastic, so I was able to just take it out and hose it down and wash it clean. Last but not least, number 3 is rain. Now, this one is a bonus depending on the station you pick up from and when the rain starts. On this particular day, the rain literally started right before I was going to check in. I went ahead and grabbed my umbrella, grabbed my raincoat, and kind of waited for it to slow down a little bit. And then I tried to go in through the door, the normal door that I go through. It was closed. So I was like, okay, let me go through the other one. Went around to the other door, saw this sign. I didn't even read the sign at first. I just, stood there, and because there was somebody else there. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they closed it temporarily because it's raining and, they'll open it shortly. Well, lo and behold, I read the sign and it said that we didn't have to stay. And when I looked in my app, it also had a message up there, and they emailed us saying that our block was canceled and that we do not have to come to the station. So this was a bonus for me, and I was super, super happy. We still got paid, and everybody was sent home. All right, so those are the few things I wanted to briefly mention to you guys to help give y'all a heads up to prevent certain unpleasant outcomes. It'll save you time and energy. My main reason for highlighting number one, specifically paying attention to the notes, is because it can actually have an effect on your standings if the customer decides to report it after they receive their package. And then, you'll be at risk for getting deactivated. So just be mindful of that. I haven't gotten one personally for that, but I have received other notifications pertaining to my standings. Number two, the damaged packages. It's obvious why I mentioned for that one. I, experienced having that damaged package mess up my entire trunk. So preventing a spill, it could save you so much time, energy, and even money. I didn't actually have to pay for my car wash because I already had a membership, but you get the idea, So taking the time to check the integrity of the packages before you leave the station, that'll help you in the long run. Granted, it may not be obvious until you're delivering, and that's understandable. Of course, you might not realize it until you're, picking up the package, like I did. So, I also recommend having, paper towels or some type of wipes or something to clean up just in case there's a spill or something like that. And number three was my favorite, which was the weather, the rain. Of course, that one was my favorite because that's my favorite, is getting free shifts. You gotta love those, rain or no rain. But besides the free pay, in the event where you do have to go out there in the rain, just make sure you have your umbrella and or your raincoat on hand, because it'll just be easier for you to go out there covered up instead of getting soaking wet. And then even some rain boots if you can. Sometimes I'll have my rain boots in the trunk with me, but then sometimes I forget to grab it before I leave the house. So those are some tips that I have. Besides that, guys, that's it for now. Thank you so much for spending time to watch this video to the end. I hope you gained some type of value from watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.